For a long time, the name of the game in AI was simple: speed. How fast can we get an answer? But what if I told you the next huge breakthrough isn't about going faster at all? What if it's actually about slowing down? Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about a massive shift, moving away from this idea of instant AI and into a whole new world of deep, careful AI reasoning. And the proof? Well, it's pretty mind-blowing.
So here's the big question we're diving into. Can an AI actually solve a problem that was literally designed to stump human geniuses? And I'm not talking about some pub quiz trivia here. We're talking about questions meant to break the brains of the smartest people alive. The answer? Well, let's just say it's about to change everything you thought you knew about what AI can do.
All right, so let's dive right into the proof, because when we talk about the gap between the old instant answer AIs and these new reasoning models, well, it's not just a small step up, it's a whole different ballgame. Think less calculator versus slightly better calculator, and more calculator versus a full-blown supercomputer.
Okay, take a look at this because this table tells the whole story. On the AIME 2024 math contest, this is seriously hard stuff, GPT-4o, our instant AI, scrapes by with 12% accuracy. But look at o1, the reasoning AI, an incredible 83%. And it's not just a math whiz. On graduate-level science problems, o1 is the first AI ever to beat human PhD experts. But, and this is the big but, you see that cost column? o1 is 4 times more expensive. This is the trade-off right here. We're ditching cheap, fast answers for something that's slower, pricier, but just unbelievably smarter.
And this is where it gets really wild. A human genius, right? They'll spend 3 solid hours, 3 hours, wrestling with one of these AIME problems. So what about OpenAI's o1? It takes around 70 seconds. Let that sink in. 70 seconds of what you can only call thinking time to get an even better score. That is a mind-boggling 90 to 150 times faster than one of the smartest humans on the planet.
Okay, let's get specific. Impossible problem number 1. A brutal question from that AIME math contest. We're not talking about adding and subtracting here. This is complex combinatorial logic. You have to think through a whole chain of steps. So how does GPT-4o do? It fails. Every single time. 0% accuracy. It's completely stumped. And o1? It just nails it. 94% accuracy. This isn't just a better AI, folks. This is the first real sign that we're looking at a totally new kind of intelligence. And hey, this isn't some one-trick pony. Let's switch gears completely. Let's go to graduate-level chemistry. Impossible problem number 2. We're talking about Google-proof questions, stuff about organic synthesis that you just can't look up. The top human experts, people with PhDs in this stuff, they score around 70%. o1, it hits almost 93%. Think about what that means. The AI is now walking into the labs of the most specialized humans on Earth and outperforming them in their own backyard.
All right, so it's not just about acing academic tests. What about the real world? Let's talk competitive programming. On a platform called Codeforces, you have to design and build super efficient algorithms under pressure. GPT-4o, it barely passes like 11% of the time. It just can't handle it. But o1, it's performing in the 89th percentile. That puts it in the same league as the top competitive programmers in the world. It's not just spitting out random code, it's actually reasoning through complex logic. So the billion-dollar question is, how is it doing this?
Well, the secret isn't what you might think. For years, the industry was obsessed with one thing, making models bigger. But now, they've realized something new. The secret isn't about making them bigger, it's about making them think deeper.
The key idea here has a fancy name, Inference-time Compute. So for the last decade, right, the race was all about training the AI. Shovel in more data, add more parameters, make it bigger. But the big breakthrough here is completely different. It's about scaling up the thinking that happens when you ask it a question. It's like instead of demanding an instant answer, you give the AI a budget of time and computer power to actually sit down and work through the problem, to think.
So here's the difference, plain and simple. The old way, what models like GPT-4 do, is basically an instant prediction. It's a single shot. You ask, it answers. Bam. The new way? It's a whole reasoning process. The AI is actually doing an internal search, kind of like exploring a maze. It tries different paths, realizes when it's hit a dead end, backs up, and self-corrects. All of that happens before it ever gives you the final answer.
And the craziest part, this whole complex process is completely hidden from you. It happens under the hood. You don't see the thousands of little internal thinking steps or all the times it backtracks and tries again. Nope.
All you see is the final, polished, well-reasoned answer. It's like there's a secret internal monologue going on, and that's where all the magic is happening.
Now get ready for this, because this is where it gets really weird and counterintuitive. You'd think that prompting the AI with think step by step would make it smarter, right? I mean, it helps us. But for O1, nope, it actually makes it dumber. It turns out that forcing it to spell out its thinking in a straight line messes with its powerful, hidden process of exploring all those different paths at once. Its own secret, messy way of thinking is just way more powerful than the neat, linear one we try to impose on it.
Okay, so this isn't just some cool lab experiment. This new reasoning power is already hitting the real world and causing a massive explosion in one of the most technical fields you can imagine, writing code.
Just look at this number, 39,100. That's the number of GitHub stars for a coding tool called AIDE that's built on this new AI. Now, to put that in perspective, getting just a few thousand stars on GitHub means you've got a huge hit. This is a phenomenon. It shows a massive bottom-up adoption by developers who are realizing this changes everything. This isn't just a new toy for them, it's a whole new foundation to build on.
And what this means is that the very nature of coding is changing. Right now, the role of AI is evolving right before our eyes. It's not about asking it to write a little code snippet anymore. No, tools like AIDE, powered by O1, can now debug an entire software project, understand how all the different files connect, and build out complex new features just from a simple English sentence. The job of a developer is shifting from being a writer of code to being a supervisor of an AI that writes the code.
But there's always a but, isn't there? This incredible new power has a dark side, a really dangerous and honestly pretty unexpected flaw. And the scary part? It seems to get worse the better these models get at reasoning.
Which brings us to a really uncomfortable question. Just because an AI can reason better, does that actually make it more truthful? You think so, right? But the answer, and this is shocking, seems to be no, not at all.
Just look at this chart. It's measuring what we call the hallucination rate. That's the percentage of time the AI confidently tells you something that's just plain wrong. And look what happens as the models get better at reasoning, as we go from O1 to the newer models. The hallucination rate just skyrockets. The O4 mini model is confidently wrong almost 80% of the time on simple questions. Think about that paradox. The exact same mental machinery that lets it solve impossible math problems also lets it create these elaborate, convincing, but completely false realities.
So, where does that leave us? What does this all mean? Well, we're standing at a massive turning point. And it's not just about technology, it's about our entire relationship with information and truth. We're basically shifting from a world where we know facts to a world where we compute them.
So in this new era, who are the winners and who are the losers? Well, the winners are pretty clear. Any field that relies on deep, complex reasoning. Think math, hard science, complex engineering. They're going to have a field day. But the losers? Well, it's any application that needs cheap, fast, and most importantly, factually reliable answers. So things like your everyday chatbots or customer service bots. This new kind of AI is an incredibly powerful tool, for sure, but it is definitely not the right tool for every job.
And this leads to a huge shift in what skills are valuable. You know, for the past few years, everyone's been talking about prompt engineering, getting good at asking the AI the right questions. Well, that's changing. In this new era, the most critical skill is going to be verification. The real power is shifting away from the question askers and toward the people who can audit, validate, and check the work of these super powerful but super flawed reasoning machines.
And really, that's the bottom line. The age of instant, cheap AI knowledge, that's ending. We are walking into the age of computed truth, an age where answers aren't just looked up in a database, they're built from scratch. And while that brings this unbelievable power to solve problems we never thought were possible, it also brings a new responsibility for all of us. To question, to verify, and to never ever mistake a confident-sounding answer for the truth.